Sister, I mean, at some point, we got to stand up. If there's anyone you should be calling, it should be the police. It just gets worse and worse. Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Daisha's Digest. The topic for today is loud and wrong. We have 3 stories. They all have updates. All of the information will be included in the description. Let's get into it. Am I the a-hole for telling a woman at the gym that she's embarrassing herself? I go to the gym a lot. About 6-ish months ago, I noticed a woman I'll call Andrea. That's not her name, but it will be for the rest of this post. I don't know if Andrea started going to the gym 6 months ago or if that's just when I noticed her. Full disclosure, I spoke to her first, but I had no way of knowing what the result would be. A lot of the machines at this gym have little entertainment systems attached to them that can access local channels. I got on a treadmill and realized the TV on the treadmill wasn't working. Andrea was walking past and I said, "Hey, do you know if there's an issue with the cable? This TV isn't working, but I don't know if it's just this one or all of them." She said the same thing happened to her on a different machine. I thanked her. That was the whole interaction. A week later, she asked me for some electrolyte powder for her water. I said I didn't have any. She was cool with that and asked me how long I'd been coming to the gym and what I did for work. I answered and returned her questions. She said she was new to the area and worked in private security. We had a few more chill conversations after that. 6 weeks ago, she asked me out. For reasons I won't get into here, I wasn't interested. I declined. She said not to worry about things being awkward at the gym if we don't work out. I said that wasn't the issue. I'm just not looking to date right now. She kept talking to me, and at first I kept talking to her. But I started to think something might be wrong, and I started to avoid her. 2 weeks ago, she walked up to me while I was on a machine with only one way to properly dismount that involved stepping into where she was standing. She asked if I was avoiding her. I said I was and apologized. I said I just don't want to date right now. She said I don't have to avoid her to not date her. I said okay. I kept avoiding her though. Tonight, while I was working out, she confronted me again about avoiding her. I had a bad day and told her to leave me alone. She asked why I'm being such a prick, and I said because I wanted her to leave me alone. I then said that she was embarrassing herself and needs to stop. She put her foot on top of the weights, and I thought she was going to press down on them, so I let go of the bar very quickly, causing the weights to slam and make a loud noise. Several people looked over. She said, "Now who's embarrassing himself?" and walked away. Did I go too far by saying that? Do I owe her an apology? Child, as someone who is an avid gym goer, I go to the gym. Recently, I've been going 3 to 5 times a week. If I already tell you that I'm not interested and you keep coming up to me and trying to talk to me every time I come to the gym, yes, I would be very much annoyed. And I'm pretty sure the way that he was referring to her, talking to her, probably gave her the hint. She just didn't want to take it. But girl, come on now. You chasing after this man, putting your foot on the weight. And I don't exactly know what machine they were on or whatever, but like whatever it was, that sounds dangerous. When you're at the gym, you're dealing with heavy weights that can injure you if not used properly. So sounded like she was putting him in a dangerous situation too. Like, girl, no means no. He don't like you. Get over it. There's other men. You'll be okay. I would have switched gyms if I was her. Somebody said the minute her foot went onto those weights, it became really important to report this crap. I'm sorry you stumbled across a gym stalker. So did I a few years ago, and it chased me out the gym entirely. Dang. I hope it's not a legit stalker. We haven't covered stalking in a while. Somebody said a woman that's new to the area, works in private security, and has stalker tendencies. Report. Somebody says season 2 of Baby Reindeer. Oh no. Another person, not the a-hole, she needs to learn to accept rejection and move on. Now she's intentionally targeting you and cornering you. Definitely report her just so that there's a paper trail of her behavior. Sadly, at the gym, you might have to employ the standoffish mindset. It sucks, but it deters people from trying to romance you when you just want to work out. I be having to do that. Well, nowadays I work out at a more private gym, but like when I was working out at the public gyms, yeah, I would just have a straight mean face when I went in there because I'm not trying to get nobody unless you real fine. Then maybe I'll smile. I was just kidding. But I'm going there to work out. I'm not really like trying to, I just want to get in and out. And some people, they be trying to talk to you. It's like, bruh, I'm sweaty. I'd look like I'm fighting for my life, and you trying to come up and talk to me out of breath, can't even barely get the words out. Like, leave me alone. Let me go to the update though. Let's see. One day later, I went in early for a run and told the front desk staff about Andrea putting her foot on the weights. They said they would talk to her. Then after work, I went in again for a regular workout. I was working on my legs when she walked up to my machine. The first thing she did was apologize about the weights. I don't know if someone talked to her or if that was of her own initiative. I accepted her apology and apologized for saying she was embarrassing herself. She said she forgave me, but if I... Girl, come on. Girl, come on. You have got to be kidding me. Y'all, listen to this. Mind you, she has already gotten rejected multiple times, okay? So listen to this. She said she forgave me, but if I wanted to really make it up to her, I could buy her a drink and she would buy me one too to make up for the weights. Sister, I mean, at some point we got to stand up, okay? You are figuratively on your knees begging for attention from this man. Like, you really got to stand up. No means no. Opie said, I said, maybe we should buy our own drinks, meaning separately at different times and places. And she misunderstood me and asked when and where. I told her I meant that I didn't want to go out with her. She said this wouldn't be a date, but a reset for our friendship. I said I didn't want to be friends. She said I was being a douche and asked what my problem is. What is her problem? The man doesn't want you. He doesn't want any type of relationship with you. Why can't you understand that? This is harassment. Like, come on. This is just too far. Opie said, I said the weight incident made me uncomfortable and I would rather us just give each other space. She then asked me if my problem with her is that she's Hispanic. I was so taken aback, I didn't even know she was until she said that. I said no, that she just makes me uncomfortable. She wanted me to explain what about her made me uncomfortable, and I tried to do so, but she argued with every point I made. I got frustrated and told her to just stay away from me. She said fine and that I have a lot of maturing to do. Then she walked away. I'm hoping that's the end of it. This girl is certifiably crazy. There's 2 more updates, y'all. Oh my goodness. Update 2. Andrea is banned from the gym. I was running on the treadmill and watching TV. She came up to talk to me and I ignored her, staring at the TV. She raised her voice and I continued to ignore her. She reached out and pulled the safety tab out of the treadmill, the one you connect to your wrist so the treadmill stops if you fall, causing the treadmill to come to a sudden stop. I tripped and fell onto the controls and TV, scratching my chin on the top of the screen. Oh my goodness. I went to the front desk with Andrea following me. I told them what she did. She kept trying to interrupt me and talk over me, but the woman at the front desk told her to be quiet and wait her turn. I told her Andrea pulled out the safety tab while I was running and injured me. The woman at the front desk then asked Andrea what happened. Andrea said I was staring into the middle distance like I was in some kind of fawaj state. and she thought I was having a medical episode, so she pulled the tap. What? Wash? Oh, I have never. Oh, fuge. Or how is that? How is that pronounced? Let me Google it. Pronunciation. Yeah, fuge.
Fugue.
Oh, fugue. Fugue. Fugue state. According to Google, a fugue state, also known as dissociative fugue, is a rare psychiatric condition characterized by sudden, unexpected travel away from home, accompanied by amnesia for personal identity and past experiences, and potentially the assumption of a new identity. That's very specific. Sounds to me like she's probably spent some time around the mental health space, whether she was on the giving or receiving end of treatment. Because who knows that term? Fugue state? I mean, unless you're like in the field. That's not a normal civilian term. Anyway, so she thought he was in some kind of fugue state, and she thought I was having a medical episode. That's what she claims. Then he continues, the woman at the front desk asked for her membership card. Andrea didn't want to give it to her, but the woman at the front desk said if she didn't, she would ban her. Andrea gave her the card, and the woman at the front desk said to leave, and she was suspended for a month. Andrea objected and got into an argument with the woman at the front desk that escalated. Now what? Now this lady is unhinged. At every turn, she chooses the wrong option. It says it's escalated into Andrea calling the woman an N-word B-word. You really thought that was the best course of action? Something is seriously wrong with her. He said, so she was banned permanently. I hesitate to call that a happy ending because the poor gym employee had to put up with racial harassment, but I won't deny getting to watch her cut up Andrea's membership card felt good. Oh my goodness. This lady. Update 3. Sorry for the incomprehensible post. I posted this last night when I was drunk. I'll rewrite it to explain what happened. Last night, I went to a bar near my apartment to meet up with some friends. The three of us were drinking and having a good time when Andrea walked up. I never saw her enter the bar. I only noticed her when she was in front of us. She greeted me and said it was good to see me and leaned in to try to kiss me. We're definitely dealing with a stalker here. This is just delusional. He said I pushed her away from me and she fell, but one of my friends caught her. She started yelling and asking what the F is wrong with me. I told her to stay away from me and not come any closer. She asked if I was embarrassed of her and didn't want my friends to see her. This is definitely a baby reindeer part 2. I said, this is the third time you've tried to assault me and I want you to stay away from me. At that point, the bouncer showed up to ask what was going on. Andrea said I pushed her. I tried to explain that she tried to kiss me and is stalking me, but I was drunk and not doing a great job. My friends also tried to explain that I was innocent, but they were also drunk. Security kicked me out of the bar. My friends walked me home. I am definitely going to try to get a restraining order. This has gone way too far. Now, this was about 2 weeks ago. Let me go to his profile. I hope there's no other update. He put a little small update in a comment. He said Andrea did end up showing up to my work. She was trespassed from the facility. She showed up in the parking lot yesterday, so she was arrested. I imagine she'll post bail this morning since trespassing isn't that serious of an offense, but it is good that this is all on record. I feel bad for him. That really sucks. That really, really sucks. Wow. Well, no other update from him yet, so we'll go to the next story. Am I the a-hole for yelling at a girl for constantly correcting my Chinese? Quick background, I was born and raised in the UK, but my parents are Chinese. I know how to speak Chinese since my parents' English isn't very good, but I don't know how to read or write it. I would like to say I'm pretty fluent. I am able to converse and understand others fine, and most Chinese people I knew outside of my family thought my Chinese was good, or at least better than they expected for someone raised in the UK. I do occasionally make grammar or vocab mistakes when I'm talking about something in Chinese, but in a general conversation, others do get the gist of what I'm saying. Recently, my mom invited her friend and her daughter from China to stay at our house for a while, and I really don't like them. I speak in Chinese to accommodate them and even translate stuff for them, but whenever I make a mistake, they would double over laughing at me. I initially tried talking to my parents about it, but all they said was that they weren't exactly wrong since I did make a mistake. Damn. That is cold blood. Oh, they laughing at you because you made a mistake? I mean, you did make a mistake, so wow. That's rude as hell. Opie said, I wanted to confront them too, but my parents always stopped me and told me it would be rude and disrespectful to mom's friend, and also how her daughter is just a kid. To clarify, her daughter is 19. Oh my goodness. I don't really see my mom's friend that often much since she spends time with my mom, but the daughter tags along with me a lot because we're similar in age. But I can't ever talk to her without her ridiculing me and laughing at my Chinese when the biggest issue is just saying the wrong word or something. She also started correcting me by yelling at me the proper word to say or the perfect pronunciation of a word if I ever slipped up. She laughs at the fact I can't read or write Chinese, and it just kept building up since my parents told me not to say anything, otherwise she, quote, might cry. I eventually lost it when she yelled at me condescendingly again because I mispronounced a word. I yelled back at her that my Chinese isn't perfect since I'm born and raised in the UK, and it's rude she does this while knowing that. She tried responding with something about how she was trying to help me, but I shut it down. Eventually, she started crying and ran to her mom, which got me in trouble with my parents. Bro, like, with parents like these, who needs enemies? Like, at least be on their side just a little bit. They're over here getting bullied for the language that, dare I say it, y'all failed to teach. If they have poor grammar and they're missing words in their Chinese, it's your fault. You're the parents. She grew up under your care. You should be the most invested in trying to make sure she get it right, or he, whoever. But when they try to stand up for themselves, then they get in trouble. Like, what? I don't get it. Opie said, to clarify, I don't mind if someone corrects me, but normally it's very non-intrusive in a conversation. With this girl, she stops the conversation to yell at me. My parents and obviously the friend and her daughter are upset, but my brother said she was rude and it was going to happen sooner or later. My brother doesn't live with me, so currently everyone in the house is all awkward and standoffish with me, and it's been making me feel slightly guilty for yelling like that. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole? As this person said, yes, sometimes people do correct grammar or words in conversation, but just in like a offhand way, like, you know, if I said, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, but you know, like just, oh, it's that instead of this. Oh, yeah, my bad. But to do it as she's doing it in such a rude and obnoxious way, that's not okay. And to be laughing at someone because they don't know the correct word instead of trying to actually genuinely help them. And then the parents, the parents are the biggest, like, why are you, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Somebody said, speak to her in English. Girl is in the UK now. Let's see how she gets along without you translating for her, shall we? Your guest could correct you without insulting or laughing at you, or politely ignore your little mistakes entirely. She isn't your teacher and you aren't her student. But yelling at you condescendingly, this is not the way to get people to go out of their way to help you. Oh, heck no. And now she cries and runs to mom? Oh, boo-hoo. Not the a-hole. I was low-key thinking that. I was like, if OP really wanted to be petty, they could just start speaking English. Then be like, who don't know the language now? Who's struggling now? Me, I'm petty. I would probably do that. I'd probably do something like that. Somebody said 100% agree that OP should only speak English around them. Translating for the parents is one thing, but dealing with condescending a-holes is not your responsibility, not the a-hole. And another comment, not the a-hole, the way she was correcting you was extremely rude. The least she could have done was politely let you know that you made a mistake. I agree with your brother. It was bound to happen sooner or later, and honestly, I think the way you responded was perfect. You gave her the same treatment she's been giving you, which she deserved. And I can't believe your parents are defending her by saying she's just a kid when she's 19. That's ridiculous. Opie responded, "Thank you for your thoughts. The just a kid defense is kind of baffling to me too. I didn't mention it in the original post since I didn't think it was that relevant, but the girl does this whole cute act. I don't really know how to describe it. She talks in a high-pitched voice and acts very childish in front of my parents, which may be where the kid thing came from. This is just an act, though, since I've seen her talk normally to other people." That's odd. Okay, we got an update 5 days later. "Hi, I just wanted to give an update on what has happened since. It's not a huge update, so I'm just posting it here in case someone wanted to know what happened. The next day, following the advice of many commenters, I simply stopped speaking Chinese in the house." Yes, I love it. I was hoping they would do that. "At first, the girl and her mom seemed to genuinely think I somehow forgot Chinese and didn't understand them. They found it funny whenever I just looked at them with a confused expression, but then it soon hit them what I was doing, and they clearly did not find it funny from then on. I know it's petty, but it made me smile. The mom barely spoke English, so she just gave up on talking to me or asking for help. The girl did learn English in school, so she tried speaking to me in English, though she was clearly uncomfortable about it. See, how the turntables. Now who's struggling? Y'all wanted to make fun of me. Now look who don't know how to speak." Opie said she wasn't that good either. "I felt like correcting her like she did to me would be an a-hole move, so I didn't do that. But instead, I just pretended not to understand what she said if she made a mistake. She gave up after speaking some English and just spoke to me in Chinese, asking why I was, quote, being so mean and, quote, weren't we friends? She went to her mom again to complain, and then my parents were really upset with me. My mom especially, because I guess she thought I was going to be best friends with this girl or something. My parents complained to my brother about it on the phone, and my brother told them off and picked me up to stay with him for a bit, at least until they left. I don't really know why my parents thought my brother would agree with them when he has been treated like that before too. For the rest of the days they stayed, they were apparently pretty miserable and didn't really enjoy the rest of their trip since I wasn't there to show them around the UK and translate for them, according to my parents anyway. See, look, if it ain't the consequences of your actions. All they really had to do was apologize, and I'm sure all probably would have been well, but they probably were too prideful to do that. He said my parents drove them to the airport and then stopped by my brother's and gave me a letter written by the girl before leaving. My brother wants me to stay longer with him. My parents said something about how the girl was so nice and sweet and still wanted to be my friend. I didn't really want the letter, but I took it and opened it after my parents left. It was completely in Chinese besides her social media tag to keep in touch or something. I will not be finding out what it says anytime soon. Even without the language thing, the girl and her mom were pretty unpleasant and rude, so I'm glad they've gone home. Thank you all for your comments. They definitely made me feel better and significantly less guilty, so I appreciate it." That is some funny, petty revenge. Oh, this was a long time ago. This was a year ago. I guess maybe it just got recently reposted or something, but there's no update. All right, third story. I've been married for a month and my husband is having an affair with my sister. I know you lying. I know you lying. Oh my goodness. I've been in shock since I found out. We have been married for a month. He's been having the affair with my sister since before we got engaged back in November. My sister is 8 months pregnant. Her husband was the one who discovered the affair, and he is divorcing her. He had to get a test done on the advice of his aunt, who is a solicitor, which is basically like a lawyer in the US, to make sure their 1.5-year-old son was his child. But my sister doesn't yet know if her husband or my husband is the father of her baby that she's currently pregnant with. I'll be seeking a divorce even though my husband wants us to go to counseling and stay married. That would never happen. That would never, like, what? Cheating? Cheating on me with my sister? We would never be cool ever again. You and the sister are cut off. And you talking about some counseling? You want to work through it? There's nothing to work through. If there's anyone you should be calling, it should be the police. Because something like that, I mean, they might have to lock me up for a second just to cool down. Like, that's really crazy. She said, I'm an advocate, a barrister. See, the UK be having these words that I do not know. Barrister. I'm pretty sure solicitor is like solicitor, a lawyer. Let me see. Solicitor is the chief law officer of a city, town, or government department. A member of the legal profession qualified to deal with conveyancing, the drawing up of wills, and other legal matters. So yeah, basically a lawyer. And then a barrister. A barrister is a lawyer entitled to practice as an advocate, particularly in the higher courts. So it's just a different type of lawyer. I guess maybe kind of like a defense lawyer, or like, I guess it's different. I guess it's our version of like a defense lawyer and a prosecutor. Like the prosecutor is specifically going after people. The defense lawyer is specifically defending people. And then we have like a public defender who, defends people who don't have money. I guess it's like similar to that. Anyway, she said she's a barrister. She said, so I won't have any trouble finding a solicitor at least. The law only takes adultery into consideration as to why the marriage broke down and not for how the assets are divided or settled. However, at least I will not have to pay him support since we were only married for a month. Oh, before I moved out of our flat. I will never speak to my sister again, no matter how much she begs me to forgive her. And I am not staying married to my husband, no matter how much he begs me to stay. I don't believe either of them when they say they are sorry, not one bit. And even if they are sorry, that really doesn't mean anything. That is a especially egregious and crazy thing to do. The two closest people to you betraying you like that, I'm telling you, they would have to call somebody to come get me. Just in case. Like, ain't no telling. Ain't no telling, okay? Ain't no telling. I'm not a crash out typically. I'm typically pretty even-tempered, I think, even when I'm upset. But something like this, like we just got married and now my sister is pregnant and the baby could be the new husband's. Like, somebody said, I'm so sorry for their betrayal. I would never speak to her ever again either. Another person, the amount of posts about siblings cheating with their siblings' partners is truly baffling. Where I'm from, these cases are extremely rare. Maybe they are hidden. I don't know. We look at our siblings' partner as our own sibling or family. The thought of looking at my sister's partner as an affair partner is puke-inducing, and I would kill for my sister. To even think to put her through something so traumatic is beyond comprehension to me. I don't understand. Do people not love their siblings? My sister is like my child. I know I shouldn't judge, but WTF? What is this upbringing? Why is this so common? No, for real, like, do you not love your sister? Like, why would you do something like that? And have the audacity to try to ask for forgiveness. Another comment, since you've only been married for a month, is an annulment an option? So sorry for what you're going through. Sis and hubby are both trash. The ink ain't even dry on the marriage certificate, and you already, oh my goodness. The update was what? How many? May, June? Like 9 months later? 10 months later. She said, last June, I, female 37, found out my husband, male 39, was having an affair with my sister, female 27. I had been married for a month. Their affair began before I was engaged. My sister's husband, male 27, was the one who first found out. When it was discovered, my sister was about 8 months pregnant with a baby girl, and it gets worse. It turned out my ex-husband is the father. It gets worse. Apparently, he was furious when he found out because he didn't want children. My ex-husband and I met in an online dating group for people who don't want children or to date people who have children from former relationships. So why are you buttering the biscuit if you don't want children? Explain that. That was pretty irresponsible of you, huh? He said, my ex-husband and my sister both begged me to forgive them. My sister said she can't help it, that she fell in love. And my ex-husband said he couldn't be blamed for what happened. These people are pieces of shit, for real. Opie said, I couldn't believe they thought what they did could be forgiven and forgotten. My ex-husband didn't want a divorce, and neither did my sister from my former brother-in-law. So they just wanted everybody to accept it, that it was just a fluke. They made a mistake. There's even if somehow someone was able to find it in their heart to forgive, now you have a whole baby as a reminder, like, and that's baby's not going anywhere. At this point, she was already 8 months pregnant. Y'all just want to y'all got a co-parent? Nah, ain't no way. But even without the baby, that wouldn't work. But ain't no way. I'ma stick with you while you co-parent with my sister who you cheated on me with. Come on now, make that make sense. Make that make sense. You can't, because it doesn't. They just wanted everybody to forgive and forget. And look, I'm not Jesus, okay? Opie said, I'm divorced now. I'm an advocate, known as a barrister in the rest of the UK. So I was fortunate to already know the best solicitors who could represent me in my divorce. Since I was only married for a month before I sought a divorce and moved out of our flat, I did not have to pay my ex-husband maintenance, and the divorce did not take long. It's a different story for my sister and my former brother-in-law. They were married for longer, they own property, and they have a son together. He was 17 months old when the affair was discovered. My sister may end up having to pay spousal and child maintenance since she earns more. Their divorce is ongoing. I haven't spoken with my former brother-in-law since I first left my ex-husband, but I feel badly for him. He was devastated when he found out about the affair and the baby not being his child. He didn't deserve any of that. People who say you should just get over it when someone cheats on you have no idea. I have never felt pain like this before. It wasn't even just emotional. It was physical as well. I'm still heartbroken over this. I had no idea anything could hurt so much. I'm going to start seeing a counselor, but it doesn't feel like enough. I haven't seen or spoken to my ex-husband since I moved out of our flat. The only contact during the divorce was through our solicitors. He's dead to me, and so is my sister. I haven't seen or spoken to my sister since shortly after I left my ex-husband, and I never want to see her again. She's dead to me. I don't think I'll ever heal from this. I'm fortunate my parents, my other sister, and most of my family support me and have disowned my traitor sister and no longer have contact with her. Anyone who tells me I should forgive her or chooses her over me gets removed from my life with no second chance. I don't ever want to hear anything about either one of them again. From what my ex-husband's solicitor said during my divorce, they, sister and ex-husband, plan to marry. It just gets worse and worse. They plan to marry after she is granted a divorce. I haven't heard anything about either one of them since then. I try not to even think about either of them. They were two of the people I loved most in the world, and they did something that I'll never heal from. They are selfish and they destroyed me. Anyone who says I should get over this or forgive and forget has no idea what it's like. I could not imagine. I could not imagine. I've been cheated on a couple times, a few times. It's rough, but by your sister? Ugh. And your husband? I'd never been married, so. And then he got her pregnant, and now they're gonna get married. Like, oh, jeez. That's really rough. Someone said, guarantee the only reason sister's marrying the ex at this point is because he's all she has since she's been disowned by the entire family. It's a marriage of convenience. Something tells me that's going to be one toxic relationship, as I'm sure there will be resentment there from both of them, and they'll have no one to blame but themselves. All I can say for the ex, who never wanted kids, karma. While I feel for the kid, I hope the kid doesn't grow up with parents that resent them. They don't deserve that. And I feel sorry for the ex-brother-in-law too, because he still has to co-parent with that girl. So he still has to see her and regularly interact or at least like be aware of it, because they could hire like a mediator so he actually doesn't ever have to see her. Just drop the kid off at like a safe location and she picked the kid up. So technically he doesn't have to see her or talk to her ever again, but he just still has to be aware of her existence, like actively aware of her existence. And that would just annoy me. Let's go to the palate cleanser. Before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The palate cleanser for today, what did I choose? Oh, it's this video on the Spread Smile subreddit. It's so cute. It's this dog trying to scare its owner, and it's like hiding behind a wall as the owner comes up the stairs, and it's like multiple videos of them trying to get better and better at scaring the owner. It is too freaking cute. Bruh, dogs are so cute, bro. We don't deserve dogs, man. I want a dog, but I just can't do it right now. I just can't do it. My life is too hectic. Maybe in the wintertime. Yeah, maybe I'll get a dog in the wintertime when I'm a little bit more settled. I don't know, man. But that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.